Guys, you guys enjoying G-Fest so far? Yeah. You guys happy it's almost over? No! I say we just stay, how about that? Yeah! Alright.
1-year vacation.
Oh yeah. Alright, so this is the Godzilla YouTubers panel. I just want to say thank you guys for coming out.
You're welcome.
And basically, take it away. Go ahead.
Well, I'm Rafael Cosme at Kaiser621.
My name is Richard Manzo, and Gojira51 on YouTube.
Yeah. I want to thank JD Lee and the G-Fest staff for setting this up. I mean, this is like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I want to thank you for all that. And we're just going to talk about our YouTube story, how we started, how he's like the film guy, I'm the maker of fan films. So we're just going to talk about our YouTube story. So pretty much, I started back in 2013. People like Deadzilla and Goji Fan got me into the stuff. And, I started out doing, fan films. I started out making a Godzilla Xzilla, Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla. And then after that, I kind of went into more Jurassic Park, Five Nights at Freddy's. So I wouldn't necessarily say I made fully Godzilla YouTube channel. Kind of more open to everything. And that's a big thing you need to learn, is that if you keep doing the same content, it might get repetitive. So always be open to new types of content. And my Godzilla fan films, difference with them is that I try to bring more, grounded human stories with them. I like touching on Godzilla's biological makeup, how he damages the environment, mutations and disease. And what I try to do different is that, everyone does the same military battles, tank battles. I try to distance myself from that. My new Godzilla movie, not a single tank battle. So, and people ask, why do you keep doing, figure films, these toy films? Well, that's kind of the thing that got me into this. I mean, it grew my channel, and it's kind of funny because more people watch my toy films than my live action ones. And, I did an Alien movie recently, and, that's what I want to do later on. I want to break that barrier that is YouTube and try to get into film. And that's kind of become the staple of my channel. I've been doing these toy battles, and that's what's pretty much bringing up my channel. And, through the years, I couldn't really find a set kind of video, like what is the main staple of the channel. I tried discussion videos, fan-made trailers, but I found out that these short battles are a thing, and my channel has grown about twice the size than it already is because of it. And, many times you struggle, should I do this certain video for the views, or you're actually enjoying it. These short battles that I do, it's something that I genuinely enjoy. I'm not kind of locked into making discussion videos, so I like doing what I do right now. And I've always wanted to be a filmmaker since I was 8. And later on, people have always said in my life, you're gonna change, you're gonna want to do something else. So I haven't changed. I still want to be a filmmaker, and that's what I plan to do. Later on, I want to get into some kind of film college, and I want to break the barrier that is YouTube and get into real life making films. Maybe even someday work with Toho. And that's pretty much my story being a YouTuber. Many times you'll always get criticism. There could be genuine criticism or genuine hate. You got to learn how to distinguish between the two of them. So that's pretty much my story on YouTube. And to end off my story, I actually do want to show an exclusive trailer to my new Godzilla film, Godzilla vs. the Creature from the Red Planet. And here's the trailer right here. It's on a USB. And here we go.
I've dealt with Godzilla since 1954, 1957, 1963, and now today.
Things change. You can't escape them.
I'm not sure we should keep fighting this. We need to leave.
We went this far, and now die?
Tell the world to have hope
In Godzilla. We deal with problems like these every half a decade, but this time, no, not this time.
I got huge doubts to solve this problem.
This may be our last shot of taking out most of these creatures at once.
Stop, everyone. Get ready. They're closing in.
You all will have to die when that day comes.
He's killed everyone I've ever cared about, and there's no going back.
Something everyone has asked for a long time. So that's pretty much my story. Richard, would you like to go ahead?
All right, yeah, I would. Real quick, just give him another round of applause. That was great, guys. Come on. Everybody's seen that in Comic-Con, right? So, anyway, like I said, my name is Richard Manzo, and basically everybody knows me as the guy who hates Shin Godzilla. So I started my channel off in 2013, but my biggest video actually came from last year, and it was called Why Godzilla 2014 is Better Than Shin Godzilla. And real quick, show of hands, who here likes 2014 better? Alright, you want to count that? Alright, now show of hands, who likes Shin Godzilla better? Alright. Oh boy, okay. Tough crowd. Anyway, yeah, so I started my channel back in 2013, like I said, and I did kind of basic reviews, editorial videos, you know, just the run-of-the-mill trailer reactions and stuff like that, but it wasn't until 2016 when the Godzilla Resurgence, as it was called for us, trailer came out. And when I first did that, I did a trailer reaction to it, and I was kind of disappointed with it, and a lot of people did not like that I had an opinion about it, and I got a lot of flack for it and stuff like that, even death threats and stuff like that. It was pretty insane. It was hilarious. Even Goji Fan 93 was commenting. He was like, dude, what the heck is going on? But yeah, and then from there, last year in 2017, that's when I made the big video. And from there, people wanted to see more videos like that. I eventually made Why Godzilla 1998 is Better Than Shin Godzilla, and yep, tough crowd, okay. But yeah, so I just kept on kind of making that because people wanted it, and I felt it though, like, because, as he mentioned earlier, there's a difference between hate and criticism. What I consider what I do criticism. I do reviews and stuff like that, but I have claims and I have points to back that up. That's how I feel, you know? And whenever we're just talking or anything like that, it's like the people, they just think I'm just a blind hater or something like that. They even say I'm not a true Godzilla fan, I only came into Godzilla since 2014, and yeah, but that's basically all I have to say about that. But going on top of that, what do you want to say about that?
He's pretty much just sets his story, and what we want to do now is kind of talk about, overall, like YouTube topics, copyright, YouTube copyright. What has been your experience with that?
It's tough, man. Like, really. Like, you put a little 3-second clip, they take down the whole 17-minute video, you know? And it's just annoying, it gets on your nerves, and I understand why, but still, it's tough because, especially for you, like a filmmaker, the toy films and stuff like that, you want to make something, and sometimes a certain music or soundtrack just fits so perfectly, but when you can't use it, it's like just a big bummer.
Exactly, like, who here has heard of Godzilla Heritage? That looked like an amazing fan film. The struggle I went through that with them in Toho was a disaster. I know all of us wanted to see it. It looked like a great fan film, that's the thing I don't get, because like YouTube, any video you put out without monetization is under fair use. So, that's kind of become like the biggest problem with making YouTube videos. I've seen a lot of channels, get taken down. Sometimes they try to make money off it, which is the wrong thing to do, but sometimes people just want to make tribute videos, music videos, and they get taken out too. So, has any video been taken out?
Oh yeah, like all of them. I literally had to, the Monster Planet video I did, that I had to re-upload that I think 7 times, and I had to go back and re-edit, and it's just a pain in the butt, it really is. But now, I want to ask a question for the audience, real quick. Show of hands, who here is not a Godzilla YouTuber but would like to be? That's a big crowd. All right, so real quick, I don't think we mentioned this at the start. At the 15, 20 minutes at the end of the panel, we're going to have a Q&A. So if you guys have any questions, just kind of...
Start making them
Yeah,
up, like
start-
as we go along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so what else do you want to talk about YouTube, though? Clickbait. Let's talk about clickbait. All right.
What has been your stuff with that?
Well, I think there's also a confusion between clickbait and like mis-selling your video and representing your video. Like, how would you say you do it?
I mean, people see that more as like, oh, you want people to see your video. I mean, that's bad. I mean, you want the most outlandish, thumbnail possible. It's the picture before the video. You click on it. I mean, I go, pretty much, standard for the film is more of like a wide shot of like the monsters, what you're getting into. And sometimes, I mean, you've done kind of like the red arrow stuff with the ads.
Yeah. Well, not red arrow. Do you guys know like the whole red arrow thing, like the whole joke about that?
Circle.
Yeah, I do a circle, like a cancel sign. That's my thing. But yeah, see, I don't misrepresent my video. I say what it is. Like if it's called Why Godzilla 2014 is better than Shin Godzilla. I'm not saying it's fact, but I'm saying it's my opinion. But that's what the video is about. That's what it's stating. But like people like the Logan Paul or Jake Paulers or whatever. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think we should talk about how social media got G-Fest where it is. I mean, I learned about G-Fest through watching, vlogs. I mean, GojuFan93 doing vlogs, people making their haul videos, and I'm like, I want to be a part of that. So that's how I got into going to G-Fest, That's what I like about social media. I mean, sometimes people see it as a bad thing and they don't really give any reason, but it really got G-Fest to where it is. I mean, we get a lot of people, people post about it on Instagram, YouTube, and it's amazing to see all these vlogs, come together, and that's pretty much how I got there. I mean, what about you?
Yeah, no, really, like watching a bunch of Goji73 or like GojuFan93, all the Gojis, all of them. But yeah, no, I mean, that's how it started, and like, even like 2014, like Godzilla, 2014 Godzilla. 2014 was the biggest year for G-Fest. I think over 3,000 people. I think it was.
Yeah,
it was huge, and a lot of that had to do with a lot of the social media and the sharing and stuff like that. I mean, it really, like, the great thing about this place is that it's small, but because of that, you kind of create a community here. Like, this is the first year where I've really kind of branched out and kind of just talked to random people in the elevator or something like that. Your neighbors with this guy, and you start talking to him. It's just a great experience that you can't get at like a Comic-Con or something like that, to where they're too big.
Exactly. I mean, that's the beauty of it. I mean, you could have problems with someone online, and like once you go to G-Fest, you all forget about that. You're just here to buy figures, get into kaiju. I've been watching less Godzilla films recently because, I want to be a feature filmmaker, watching, more realer films and just trying to learn how to do that. But, going to G-Fest, just people go up to me and ask for autographs, pictures, like that's something I'll never get, and that's why I love the community that we have here.
Yeah, really, no, I mean, it's awesome just to be able to, because already I see so many faces I've already seen in the hallways, just, hey, what's up? No, but yeah, it's awesome just to, thank you guys for just coming up, and that's the great thing about this, you meet people, you make friends, and sometimes there's a little bit of drama, sometimes people don't like each other and you get into fights, not real fights, but like online. But, no, yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of it. Yeah.
So I guess we've talked about all the, pretty much the main discussions, and if you guys have any questions, we're going to open up for Q&A for the rest of the panel. Does anyone have any questions? You.
I'm wondering why you have not incorporated monster art into your videos. The more
Exactly, yeah. I mean, figures, I barely bought any this year. And that's the thing, SH Monster Arts. I am not the best with stop motion, so I kind of like people, it might seem, you're just moving the figure in front of the camera. I mean, if I would have stop motion, it'd be a few seconds in there. Like I did a Jurassic Park, fight scene recently, and I had a little bit of stop motion in there. But I mean, Daikaiju Legend, I see him back there. I mean, he does great stop motion. I mean, I guess we all have our kind of thing. I'm not really the stop motion guy. I'm more of like the, practical sets, less special effects, and try to do everything practical, real explosions with little firecrackers, build these miniature sets kind of like the real Toho movies do. So I would try more stop motion, but I don't really have much experience in that, but I will try to be open more to that soon. So, yeah.
Any questions? You, up there in front. Okay. I knew that was coming. Alright, so Shin Godzilla, that's a tough one. I would say it is probably my least favorite Godzilla film. That's tough. Because like, it takes itself so seriously. Other Godzilla films like Godzilla's Revenge and stuff like that, it's not serious. But yeah, I would say that's probably my least favorite, but yeah.
Anyone else? Titan go dude.
Question for both of you guys.
Yeah.
Favorite Godzilla?
Favorite Godzilla movie. Some of you know this is GMK. I mean, GMK, like, I like seeing all the Godzilla movies, but GMK stood out to me more because not only the design is my favorite, but it talked about this Godzilla being made from like the dead people from like the older nuclear wars. Like that storyline. It's hard getting a dark Godzilla movie now. I mean, 1954. That's pretty much probably my favorite because of how serious it took itself. It touched on how message of nuclear bomb. It shows the effects radiation has on people. And I kind of got that feel when I saw how dark the tone was in GMK, so that's probably going to be my favorite.
For me, I'd have to say 1998 is probably my favorite. No, I'm just kidding. No, really, it comes down to, of course, 1954, you gotta love the classic, and 84 is really good.
Yeah.
2014, woo! Where's Chris? Is he in here? No, he's not. Okay. But 2014, all the fours. I love the fours, but GMK is also great.
Yeah.
But if I had to pick one, probably 1954. That's still probably my favorite. Next question. You right there.
Yeah, I guess the big one is how do you amass your followers, like get more subscribers? Like I've been making videos on my own channel it's always been to have a lot of subscribers.
You mean like how to get more subscribers? I mean, I guess the best recommendation I would have is just, Monster Planet. That's a big thing. You talk about Monster Planet. Like I said, trying different types of videos, discussion videos, little fan-made trailers, little fight scenes with the figures. I mean, just try testing new things out. It might be because many people, I love seeing videos of people talk about the old Godzilla movies, but people, they want to know, what do you think of Shin Godzilla? What do you think of Monster Planet 1 and 2? So I would best say, pick what's most relevant now. And I feel like people, it might not be a direct influx of views, but that's what people care about most, is relevancy with the new content, so.
Well, the way I kind of did it, like I said, I started in 2013, and, what's up, man? 2013, and like I said, in 2016, really, I had maybe 2,000 subscribers, not even. But what you gotta do is you just gotta keep trying. You gotta keep doing it, see what works. Because people always say, like, just do what you love and don't clickbait or whatever. And we just talked about that. But really, what's the point of a YouTube video? The whole reason why you're asking this question is because you want people to see what you make. If you make something and you think it's great, you want the most people to see it as possible. So you just gotta keep doing, hop on a trend even if you have to. Don't sell out, don't say something you don't believe or think is not true, but just do what you think is right, do what you want, and just try to go with the flow, and eventually you'll catch on. Yeah. Wanna pick the next one?
Blanca in the back. Okay.
This is kind of an obvious question, but what's your favorite Godzilla kaiju?
Godzilla Kaiju. I would say Gabra, but I don't want to piss people off. I'd probably say, man, I do like Biolante. Just wacky design. Almost looks like an Ultraman monster. Here?
Zilla. No, Anger's. I love Anger's. Who here loves Anger's? There we go.
Yeah.
The underdog kaiju. The Rocky Balboa. That's why I love him. So, alright. Next question.
Kaiju news. Kind of how I was introduced.
Yeah.
This is actually surprising. I got introduced to Godzilla really late, almost like 2011, 2012. I'm not one of those people who say, oh, I was a Godzilla fan since I was a toddler or a baby. No, I mean, it was a really late thing. I mean, I started out like, Steven Spielberg movies, Jaws, Jurassic Park. And when I started seeing more Godzilla stuff, I actually played Godzilla Unleashed, and that kind of opened my mind more. Hey, this is a cool kaiju game, monster game. And I kind of looked more into it, and I saw the Godzilla movies. And it's weird because, you know, many times when you're a kid, you just see Godzilla movies pass on TV, and sometimes it might blow over you. If, like, I wasn't a fan of it, but way before. But, you know, more recently, like, I've been a Godzilla fan, I guess, for, like, the past 6 years. I wouldn't say I was, like, since I was a child. So that's how I was introduced to Godzilla.
So how I was introduced to Godzilla, earliest memory I have is probably, it must have been 2004. There was a box set, and it was about Godzilla Final Wars, and I was in a Kmart. That's how you know this is old, because Kmart was still a thing, but it was a box set, and they had all the figures from Godzilla Final Wars, and I was just like, what is that thing? And I remember the manga thing, I was like, okay, that's really cool. And eventually I watched Godzilla Final Wars. I think that was my first movie, and then it kind of just, it was like avalanche effect, you know? So, that's it. Alright, hang on, I promised this guy right there. There you go.
What do you think a good age is to start? You want me to take this?
Yeah, go ahead, go first.
Any age. I mean, I see a lot of times, you know, many of the older Godzilla YouTubers kind of think, oh, you know, we'll always get new, younger Godzilla YouTubers, and that's what I like seeing, you know. First wave of people was like Deadzilla, Goody73, Goju fan, Richiso, he's still around. And now more recently, we're getting more younger, teenage Godzilla YouTubers. Some of them, you know, a lot of people think, oh, I don't have any respect for these people because, you know, they don't know what they're talking about. Some of them really do. Like, some of them really care about what they do. So I would say any age is good. If you know what you're talking about and you're more knowledgeable on it, any age can work. I mean, it's just, you know, you don't have to have the best content. Like, it's irrelevant. You're a kid talking about Monster Planet 2, people want to hear your opinion. So I'd say any age.
I second that as well, any age. So, Chicken Man, what's up?
What's your favorite meme of
Of me?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll say Arby's Boy. That's a big one.
Couldn't be original.
That meme.
Okay, nobody knows what that is. Him and I made a short film. It was called Arby's Boy. And how would you explain it? Like I'm a monster or something?
Horror
like that?
movie, he's a monster, one of my live action stuff.
Yeah, I don't know, like a weird nightmare thing, but that's my favorite.
My favorite creepypasta.
Alright. You.
What's your favorite monster roar?
Favorite monster roar? You want to go first?
Sure. Godzilla included or excluded?
Included.
Godzilla.
2014 roar, and also I like the long 91 roar. I remember he had a pretty long one in that one, probably when he was over the hill or something like that. Alright. You. The live action one? Yeah, so that's actually a pretty good question. This movie has nothing to do with Godzilla. I mean, I like these kinds of questions. It's a kind of real movie I want to make in the future. You know, live action, solid alien thriller movie. You know, I was inspired by Close Encounters. That was a big movie in my childhood, and I just love the feeling of it. It's nothing like, you know, crazy machinery, Transformers kind of aliens. It's simple. And I think I love that movie so much because it sprung a deeper message of, you know, a creator would give anything, you know, just to follow that passion. He even gave up his family. I think his character was Roy in the movie. That's in Close Encounters. So, and I really got inspired by that. You know, that's to me how, you know, an alien encounter would play out in real life. You know, people think, oh, it's always, you know, very, you know, hostile. So I just like making a solid thriller, and you know, some people understood what I was doing. It was a thriller movie, no story, no characters. Simple thriller, intense scenes building up till the end until you see the UFOs come down. So it already came out. It came out on June 16th, a month ago, so you can check it out.
Alright, well I don't have a movie, so there you go. Green shirt.
Gray. Gray.
Is that gray?
Yeah.
Okay, you're good.
I'm just starting a YouTube channel. I'm just wondering what kind of software to use for your editing, so I can.
I would say, if you're one of those people, you know, Adobe works, but Adobe is not a big, you know, a good editing software is not what gets a channel to where it is. It's the content you make. You know, I utilize VideoPad. It's this, you know, cheap, you know, almost, I mean, and we all started out with Windows Movie Maker, we gotta agree, but I moved on to VideoPad, simple, I've learned every single part of that software in and out that, I always keep telling people it's not about the editing software. Do not, I try to tell people, if you can't afford $300 software for editing, don't do that. I mean, it works, whatever you can utilize with that one software, use the most out of it, and just get creative with it. I mean, my channel is still, I've been using VideoPad since 2015, and that's pretty much most of the life of my channel. So I wouldn't say, don't get a $300 Adobe if you cannot afford it. Start out with something small and build your way up.
Yeah. I also started with VideoPad. I introduced like all of our little YouTube friends into VideoPad and stuff like that. But now currently I use a HitFilm. That's a free software. It's kind of like Adobe After Effects, but it's completely free. You can use it. They have like just everything basically. You can do whatever you want in there, and it's awesome. So just go ahead and download that if you want. It's a little complicated, but you'll get the hang of it. So, all right, you right there. Love your beard, by the way.
Just wondering if you guys had anybody on YouTube who would really like to collaborate.
I mean, I wouldn't say collaborate in the means. I mean, here's the thing. Like, I want to, branch out, get more live action Godzilla movies, but if I were to say collab in terms of like, I mean, it's hard. I mean, the only place to really collab with a Godzilla YouTuber would be at G-Fest, and I've kind of done that these past 3 days. So, if I would, probably go to Fan 93, any kind of video.
This is a tough one actually. I was trying to think of it. I collabed with Goji Fan 93. Talked to Goji 73 about Danny's last night. That was good. Goji Fan 93, why not? Yeah. Chris is cool. So, next one.
Alright, you in the back.
This might sound off topic, but what's your favorite Jurassic Park fan film?
Fan film? I mean, it's hard to remember the names. I mean, I remember seeing some like live action. They had like the Asian soldiers from the Jurassic World movie. I remember there's like a little fan film of that. I haven't really seen much Jurassic Park fan films. I mean, I'm doing some of NDK's stuff. I've liked some of that. Shout out to you, man. So yeah.
What was the name of yours?
Yeah, Jurassic Park Survival.
I like that one. That one's one.
Alright. So you in the back, green shirt.
So, I know you have a lot of experience like filming outside because I can see why you do it, the lighting's better. I want to start doing it, but I stay inside because like the lighting changes, so it's kind of tough. And, like the weather changes a lot, bugs and stuff like that. So do you have any tips for that?
So basically what he's saying is that, I've mostly done most of my films outside. I live in a neighborhood, not an apartment. I see a lot of people struggle filming, scenes in an apartment. You don't get any light. And that's the thing, natural daylight. I mean, I kind of have an open, barely any trees, so you get the full sunlight down. I would say, I see a lot of fan films have that kind of room lighting. I would say just have as many lights. You don't need to buy those $100, stand-up, bright lights. Just get any lamps as possible. Just do what you can. I mean, sometimes you can even brighten it up in the editing process. So I would say get as many lamps you can find. They sell these little lights, I think some kind of hardware stores, maybe Home Depot. These little lights, I forgot, but it's the ones you put on your wall for like, I use the ones that when there's like an emergency or something, I don't know. But like I said, just don't try, if you can't afford one, get any kind of lamp you can get for inside scenes.
All the way back there with the video camera.
Yeah, so my son was up to you guys, for a young YouTuber, who do you guys go to for like film tips? Like, as far as subject matter conversation.
So you're saying like where he should get film tips? Like for like fan films? I mean, I guess learning about it, I mean, I learned everything, myself. I mean, I've got the inspiration from some older Godzilla YouTubers, seeing these practical sets. I never was into special effects. I think I can only do that if I only master it. I don't like using green screen. I never was a big fan of that, so I try to do as much practical as possible. Getting film tips, I always think just look at the old Godzilla movies. What do you obviously see? Miniature sets. And what I do is that, Michaels, these other, miniature stores, they have some miniature sections. They sell miniatures for, $20 for a little chair. I'd say look in your old toy bins. I've looked in my old toy bins since I was a toddler, and you get little chairs and stuff. Find stuff that looks realistic enough that could probably work. And that's what is surprising to find, because, right now, I get more, miniature stuff, but when I started, I used stuff I've had from the past. Look in your old toy bins. You're always going to find some kind of stuff for practical sets. So that's what I would give for tips.
I'd say Goju 73 is a major inspiration for younger, I guess, kids who want to kind of make because what is the Godzilla and His Amazing Friends? That's what it's called. Yeah. So that's a great one. Also, Daikaiju Legends. He does tutorials and stuff like that on After Effects, and that's a little complicated, but eventually, that would be a great source. And for an actual film channel, I know it's called Film Riot. And Ryan O'Connelly, I think his name is, he does great. He's awesome. He does kind of DIY kind of setups and rigs and stuff like that. So that'd be an awesome source for him.
Yeah. All right. More questions? Yeah, go to Fran. Yeah, that's what I want to try to do. Like I said, people like more of the, figure stuff, but for next year and this year, plan to do Arby's Boy too. But also, try some kind of Godzilla short, because I haven't done a live-action Godzilla movie, and a lot of people ask for that. So, maybe even Mushino. It's an old, last year it came out, I worked hard on it, and people say, oh, you should have done live action. I would try maybe for the next one, the sequel. So, yeah, I'll try to do more live action, but if I were to do, I'd probably wait for the Godzilla stuff later on, because, like I said, with the heritage stuff, kind of going into that route, it's kind of like a new, layer stepping into, so be watchful for that. That's why I kind of limit myself back to figures. It's safe, it's toys, so, if I were to do live action, it'd be little shorts, but you gotta be careful with that sometimes, so.
Okay, how about right here, in front of the blue?
No, behind him.
Yeah, behind him.
What's your favorite band I think
I don't know who made that Orochi figure, it's probably Bandai, but I really like that figure. It's the most standout in my collection.
I don't really like Bandai figures, to be honest. I don't think they're worth the money, kinda. They might. Okay, guys, calm down. But, I don't know, favorite Bandai figure. I really like the, I'm drawing a blank. I don't know.
Bandai Creations Hedorah.
There we go. That's it. There we go. Alright, next question.
NDK, I saw your hand up.
Well, I wanted to ask, why is this for your, when you made your first film, why do you think you chose to use figure actors?
Like for Godzilla 1954, that one old. I didn't even have voice actors. I literally voiced every character in that first Godzilla film. It was absolutely. When you start making films, fan films, you try not to compare yourself with others. You think, okay, this is the best I can do, but then later on, I've gotten better, normally. So I would say, you think, oh, I can't do as good as this other fan film. Well, you can only do as good if you just keep making more. And that's the thing. People say, oh, your fan film is clearly better. I cannot do something like that. It doesn't matter. You keep making more and more and more. It's the quantity of it, and also put quality into it. Take your time on it, and eventually you'll just get better. And that's why I did the figure films for 1954. I just found, hey, everyone else is doing these toy Godzilla films. Let me try one, and then kind of evolved from that. So that's pretty much how I got into it. Okay, green shirt far away.
Rise, go to your Machino.
What?
Rise, go to your Machino.
Mushino.
Could it be original enough?
Yeah. Anyone? Yeah.
Of all the movies that you made on your YouTube channel, which one was
That I've made, I would have to say Mushino, because it's such a different film. People say the kaiju isn't only in it for 10 minutes out of a 1 hour and 20 minutes almost feature length. But the thing I've noticed is that it's rare to see a human story in a Godzilla fan film, a kaiju fan film, especially with figures. It's hard to kind of, fully, and that's the kind of thing that's hard. Sometimes you gotta think, oh, people aren't gonna watch a fully character-driven fan film. So sometimes you gotta say, oh, I did Machina for the passion because I wanted to see how a full human story would coincide with this kind of story. You know, I want to make a Machina movie in the future, you know, figures fully live action, and I want to achieve that. So I would say that's why Machina is my favorite. I mean, it's a story that, it's a different kind of story. I mean, it had to do with this terrorist organization, with the Komodo dragon Machina, you know, all these things bringing the world down. And, you know, it's kind of a really, you know, darker ending. It's really dark, you know, touches on these kinds of subjects, and it doesn't end well in the end in this movie. That's why I like it. It's something different. It doesn't end with the classic, oh, good guys disabled the bomb. So that's what I would say that Machina's my favorite. Right there. Yeah.
You guys were talking about copyright earlier, and then the doubts that time. What I was hearing from you is it's usually music now.
A lot of the time, yeah. Like, I've heard Toho recently said, I don't know if it's true or not, it might be a theory that they're going to be more open for, like, you know, copyright. But that'd be more, I guess, for the YouTube side. And if that is true, I hope that is true, because I've seen a lot of my friends' channels get taken down just for making these music videos. So it's always about be careful. Sometimes if you see it say, you know, cross third-party, you know, guidelines, I sometimes even pitch the music differently in this audio software. You know, try to find your cracks into
They
it.
don't say download for using all the monsters from the.
No. I mean, everyone shows their monsters on YouTube. I think it's more for like the music and actual scenes from the movie. If you show like maybe a full, I mean, I haven't tested it myself, but I've heard, you know, you show a full, you know, 10-minute scene from a Godzilla movie in 2014. I mean, that's what will definitely get taken out because it's from a higher company. So, I just be careful with it, I guess.
When you do live action ones,
Yeah.
you're using the names of the monsters in the film. Might be looking down to that.
It's fine because, you know, sometimes you could say, oh, you're showing the figures. I mean, for me, it's the figures. And if it's what they're doing, like the figure stuff, what's the difference of showing a figure in a little fan film and a figure in a toy review? I mean, it's not that different. You're showing a toy on camera, so they can't really do anything. So that's what I would say for that. Chicken Man, again.
I don't know, what's the one where like the Cha-Cha Slide or the Electric Avenue one? He asked for like a Fortnite dance or something. I don't know Fortnite. Are there any kids here who might? You're right there. What's your favorite Fortnite dance? There you go. All right. Last question.
Kid with the black hat, almost in the middle back there, yeah.
What type of camera do you use for filming?
So for me, I personally use this Canon 70D, and that was a big part of starting out YouTube. I started out with this awful, like 1990s, you know, cassette kind of camera, 480p, and eventually I moved on once my channel grew more and I could, you know, gather enough money for a bigger one. But this one, I got it. This is more affordable. The newer ones, I would say, try not to pay $1,000 for a camera. That's just way too much money. This one costed $1,000, but I got it on eBay used for $744. So I think it was a solid deal because I've been saving up enough for it and like for many years. So, what camera do you use?
Yeah, this one is the Canon EOS Rebel T6i, and this one costs about the same price. It's a newer model, but it comes out to about the same.
You could probably find some out there for like $400, $500.
Oh yeah, definitely. Go to like eBay or something like that. But because he does more filming and stuff like that. But for me, I do more like narration of my voice and stuff like that. And I started off, like, now I have a Blue Yeti mic, which costs me around, I think, $100-something. It's not all that expensive, but I started off just on the laptop. The first day I got my YouTube channel, I was like, all right, let's go. I got the webcam. It was like a potato quality, but literally, I mean, that's all you gotta have to start, you know, and that's what starts it. You just put your foot in the door, and it just goes from there. So it doesn't matter.
All right. You again, yeah. I'm not like the best at the figure reviews. I mean, I did that when I started out. I mean, it's just talking about the paint job. I mean, I'm not really the one to ask that. Do you know anything about figure reviews?
I mean, I kind of used to do them only for a little bit. I mean, the best advice is just kind of show the figure, have it in frame, because I've seen ones where like they're just messing with the camera and it's like on their feet. Just try not to do that. That's all I'd say.
All right. Yeah.
Like legendary Warner Bros. Godzilla, and if they ever had to see
I mean, I wouldn't say I'll be like the actor kind of guy. I mean, I forcibly have to be in all my films because it's hard to find, you know.
Until I sign the contract.
I'm back.
So, next question. Let's see. Right there.
I really like Cloverfield. I don't know why. It's kind of an unpopular opinion. I mean, who here likes Cloverfield? I mean, it's just such a different type of film. I think we need more like that. And I think, honestly, Cloverfield showed the best view for a monster I've ever seen. You know, all the Godzilla movies, all these wide shots, aerial shots. Cloverfield, you felt the mass of it. You felt, you know, just being lost in the city, you know, with the video camera, you know. I think it's the best found footage film, and I just love that movie, Cloverfield.
Yeah, no, I second that completely. Cloverfield is actually terrifying. Like, it is, even the little, like, amoeba things, like,
those parasites.
Yeah, like, when the lady's head just blows up, like, that was terrifying, it was. And actually, to go back to, I forget who asked it, the guy, my favorite kaiju roar, excluding Godzilla, that is, like, one of the most terrifying, shrieking roars I've ever heard, because you really feel it, like, come through the city of New York, just rounding the corner. And it's really great.
And it had some pretty good characters to follow upon, which is pretty surprising.
Yeah, no, it did. Yeah, T.J. Miller was in it.
Yeah, meeting really.
But
he's been acting this whole fan. Yeah.
Considering all the difficulties using this AD, have you considered going to a different video platform?
Yeah, I mean, I always trying to find, you know, the cracks into, you know, going through all the YouTube problems because, you know, the guidelines are getting worse and worse, you know, people are getting their videos demonetized, that's like the biggest thing right now, and it's only going to keep getting worse, so I will just try to survive on YouTube. I mean, I don't think I'd be doing it for like till I'm 30, but I'll try to go as long as I can. If my channel gets taken down, I mean, the guidelines, the copyright, the copyright kind of messed me up back in 2015. I remember I had one strike. I haven't gotten a strike in a while, so there's no, I mean, if there was another platform and more people back it up, maybe possibly, yeah.
Yeah, there's really just no other platform right now besides, like, I can think of Facebook and Instagram right now, but it just the interface and the algorithm is just not set up enough to sustain something like that, to be able to switch over, like Vimeo and stuff like that. Like, you just gotta wait until something happens. So, yeah.
Right.
So,
any more questions? Yeah. Plotline, I would say just immediately go back to 1954, completely dark. I mean, 2014, I liked how they set up the whole dark tone in the teaser trailer, and in the end, it kind of lost it. I think that's one problem I have with it. I mean, the teaser trailers, you know, they showed, you know, how dark it became, you know, this force of nature. That plot line kind of got a little twisted, you know, throughout the movie. It kind of became more about the characters, which they weren't the best, honestly. Bryan Cranston should have stayed on longer, but for the last Godzilla movie, latest, I would say, you mean like an American kind of movie, or tell about which of the two? I would like to see just a way more serious Godzilla movie, you know, have a story to where somehow, almost kind of like the Gamma trilogy had, some kind of connection with someone with Godzilla, not in a very spiritual, like magic sense, just some kind of like symbolism. I mean, for mine, I'm doing that kind of thing for my new fan film. I mean, the main character, you know, he's affected by Godzilla's radiation, and for some reason he finds that he's kind of the same thing. They're both dying, they're slowly, the scars, all they've had throughout the year, Godzilla's a creature, and it slowly has to die because of its biological makeup, it's just a mutation. So I would like to see that kind of story in Godzilla. So, yeah.
That question wasn't for me.
Alright,
so.
Anyone else?
There you go. Yep.
It's for Tyson.
What type of film would you make given the resources or budget, like for a Hollywood film? What type of like genre film would you make?
Genre film, I mean, I'm not into comedies nor romances. I mean, I probably have to do it in the future if I want to do real film, gotta touch on all those subjects. I've done too many dark films. I haven't really tried a little more lighthearted. I mean, for my new Jurassic Park film, I'm kind of taking a more comedic tone, completely action. So I would say anything that's not dark or so serious, a dark tone, anything opposite from that, I would say.
All right, and we have time for one more question. After that, we gotta wrap things up.
Maybe
so.
two more, maybe. One. Yeah.
We gotta make
fit two more.
We gotta make it fast. All right, one more. We're set. We got one more. All right. Okay. So who wants to be the last one? There you go.
Yeah. I would change, just to make it quick, the characters. That's the thing that really faulted on that movie, and it's not my favorite Godzilla movie. I think the characters, yes, they showed, the government side of it, but, it's hard. We keep getting these government characters, military characters. I want to see a normal family in this universe of Godzilla. No one that's in the military, nor in the government. Some family that is just witnessing this, maybe fix up what 2014 couldn't do. I would like to see that for, characters changing that and shit. So,
yep, I think that basically concludes our session. So, also, I do want to say, there was supposed to be a third person here, but I think he's sleeping somewhere, so. But yeah, just real quick before we get done completely, I just want to say thank you again to everybody, JD, Lee, to all the staff, all the organizers, all of you, just to make this possible. Just thank you for making G-Fest just another great year, and hope to see you guys next year. All right, thanks guys.